In the past week, some news has come to light about the S25 Edge's battery and its capacity, or lack of. And the thing is, the news that we've seen is what we've been trying to tell you all along. Welcome back to SamMobile TV. You're here with Daniel. Earlier in the week, we posted a video about how battery life or battery capacity isn't as important anymore because of how people live their lives, especially non-tech people who just kind of live their life and don't think about the battery on their phone as much. It's not as important. That number that's on the spec sheet doesn't necessarily always translate to how they use their phone or how much they need on their phone. It's fair to say a lot of you weren't happy with the take initially that I put, because I did put both sides to the argument forward. And thankfully, there's also not just one phone in Samsung's lineup. There's multiple phones. So if this doesn't suit you, you get the one that has the bigger battery that does suit you. But after I filmed the video, and I did make mention of it in the video itself, some news came to light about the battery that is in the S25 Edge. I'll get to that in a moment. People are slandering this phone, calling it a scam, saying it's overpriced, saying what you're paying versus what you're getting is not worth it. But the thing is, after this news came to light, it made me think that everyone's wrong about this phone. And let me tell you why. I want to start with some of the first things that I see about it is that it's not innovative enough, that there's no innovation going on with the S25 Edge. I just don't see how you can think that. Considering what is in here, 8 Elite for Galaxy, the vapor chamber that is the bigger size on the S25 Plus, and you've got the flagship camera from the Ultra sort of sitting in there, the 200 megapixel, and another one, because if rumors are true about the iPhone 17 Air, it's just going to have one camera. For them to be able to slim this package down into this 5.8 millimeter body with the cameras and the hardware that's inside, it's a very, very mean feat. Something that I don't think any manufacturer could just go out and do at a whim. Like, Samsung made this phone alongside the Ultra. This isn't their only phone in the lineup. It's not like they threw all their eggs into this basket. They made this to sit with the range of the Galaxy S25 series. It's easy to say, especially when you look at it from the front, that it's just another slab smartphone. Because from the front, that's exactly what it is. But it's about what they've been able to put in a package this small. So I think that's pretty innovative. You don't have to agree with me. That's just what I think. The next part is people saying that it's overpriced. This is something that I guess I can jump on board with and agree with. Because yes, the price of the S25 Edge for what you see on the spec sheet doesn't add up. Dual cameras in 2025, a 3,900 mAh battery in 2025. It doesn't really make sense that that's all you get with a phone that costs just a little bit less than the S25 Ultra. But here's the thing. New form factors and cheap price don't go together. When Samsung launched the original Galaxy Fold, it was, in every single way, worse than the S10 Plus. I would say it had the same cameras, but they weren't as high performing. The battery life wasn't great. The front display was a joke. It was heavy. It was narrow. It was too small for what you were getting. It had that hideous notch on the inside. Yet it was a foldable, so the price command was higher. And people spent it because they saw the value in what it offered. The S25 Edge for me is no different to that, because you're not really paying for the spec sheet. You're paying for the new form factor and what has gone into making this form factor. Slimming the modules and components down to fit inside here is impressive. They would have had to develop R&D and new fabrication processes to make this happen. It's got a titanium frame, so not only is it lightweight, but it's also strong and durable. It's got a new ceramic Gorilla Glass on the front, as well as the one that's on the back glass here being the same as the Ultra. So yes, you can point at this on a sheet of paper and say that's not enough, but it's what has actually gone into making this, and the fact it's a sort of a new category, super slim phones, that's what you're paying for here. It's the experience of it. The Fold was the same. You weren't paying for the specs that it had, you were paying for the experience it provided you. And when you use this phone, and remember, I paid for this with my own money, you actually get the value of what you're investing in, which is a very, very lightweight, very comfortable phone that you just cannot put down, except when you're making videos and you need the top-down shot. The next point, and probably the most crucial one, is about the battery. This is the one that everyone was pandering. 3,900 milliamp hours in capacity. That's a joke. People could not believe it. No silicon carbon tech. Again, people couldn't believe it. They're like, Samsung, cost cutting. Samsung don't want to invest in the latest. They're absolutely fleecing us here. It's all for profits. This week, that's been proven wrong. That narrative can officially be debunked. Ice Universe did some digging, and alongside Ice, there's been some other people that have sort of investigated. And when we go through and we look at them, you can see that, here we go, Wacky Home teardown of the Edge. His frustration with the battery has eased. Given the phone's slim design, the battery can only be 3.6 millimeters thick. Here's a nice comparison. The Xiaomi 15 Ultra's battery is 6.3 millimeters, which is thicker than the entire body of the Galaxy S25 Edge, which is 5.8. Now, there's a whole bunch of other stuff in here about density and sort of thickness and carbon and all that sort of stuff. Even if you use the highest density silicon carbon battery available domestically, you'd only get around 4,500 milliamp hours, which I think would be a great capacity for this phone. However, as we go on here to the next tweet or next post on X, there's actually more context provided. So, in terms of energy density, now this is all stuff that goes a little bit over my head. The S25 Edge's battery has improved over the S25 Ultra. So the density of energy that's in this battery is 727 watt hours, whatever that means. And the S25 Edge reaches 758. So they're maximizing the amount of energy that can be densely packed into the cell within the constraints of the existing technology. And it said here, if they did put in silicon carbon, if they went straight for that tech and upgraded it, that you've got to factor in other things like the ultra-thin design, heat dissipation, and sort of stress on expansion of the battery and making sure it fits in. It's got some references here to other phones, like the Oppo Find N, which is a foldable. It's got the density of that battery there. And if you applied that density number to the Edge's battery, it would be 4,170 milliamp hours, which, looking at the number there, 3,900, is barely an improvement. It's not a bigger number. Obviously, on paper, you'd look at that and be a bit more comfortable, but it's not going to make that drastic shift that everyone was hoping for. The point that Ice makes here about the battery sort of history that Samsung has with the Note 7, you can absolutely understand that it wouldn't be worth taking that risk when you consider what has come before it. Because if you just push it that little bit more and then you have all of these battery issues from a hardware standpoint, what have you gained? You've gained a couple of 100 milliamp hours in capacity, but all you end up having is a much poorer experience for the consumer, potentially battery issues, and then maybe another recall. No one wants that. And I'm pretty sure Samsung would have considered it when they designed the phone. The last point there, it is not something to blame on Samsung cutting corners. Within the constraints of the current technology, Samsung has actually got the most out of it, which means they weren't just maximizing profits. They were actually using the battery tech and actually making it better. So they weren't just cramming a 3,900 milliamp hour cell in it and calling it a day. They got the most out of what they could. And that translates into battery life because the capacity, albeit small, is actually quite long lasting. My battery life has been superb. I took this off the charger 8 hours ago because I woke up at 3:30 this morning. And with almost 3 hours of screen on time on the clock, it's used 38%. Not groundbreaking, but not catastrophe either. And it's still got 15 hours and 50 minutes estimated left. And a full charge will go about 24 hours plus an hour change at the end of it. It is perfectly acceptable. And I said that as much in my last video earlier in the week. And the last sort of criticism is people asking who asked for it. And that is one that, I can understand because no one said, I want a slim phone, but they also didn't say they didn't want one. So what they were asking for was new form factors, innovation. They were saying that the smartphone market has gotten stale. Slab smartphones have kind of got to a crescendo, a peak. Where else can they go? So Samsung went, okay, well, let's try something different. Let's invest in making phones slimmer and seeing what we can do. Not replacing anything though. It's not like the S25 Edge come and replace the Ultra or the Plus or the base model. It's in addition of, and you have choice now. So if you wanted to get a slim phone, it's here for you. If you didn't, then this is here for you. I don't understand people saying and getting offended or upset at Samsung bringing a new phone to the market that they have no intention of using. It's just like a car manufacturer bringing out a sports car, but you're a sedan guy and you have a family. Why are you upset that they're bringing out a sports car? Don't buy it. It's not for you. This is for people who want it, the same way the sports car is. It's just crazy, people's reaction to how things happen. People like to put their noses in businesses that they don't really belong in or they have no intention of caring about, yet they get upset about it. Let some energy go and just don't worry about it. It's all good. So what we got was the Edge. And I, for one, am stoked that Samsung have done this. Using this phone every day is a pleasure. My hand isn't cramped, the phone feels incredible to hold, and just using it makes phones fun again, even if you don't really change how you use it because it does exactly the same things as the Ultra. But again, that's why that's still here. Let me know what you think. Had you considered the Edge and turned against it? Or had you not considered the Edge, tried it, and now you're converted? Be interested both ways. Let me know in the comments. Whilst you're there, feel free to hit subscribe to SamMobile TV. Go check us out on our website as well. Plenty of Samsung content up there every single day. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.